questions for Coach?
Roy, you mentioned Garrison on the teleconference today. Anything further on him or on Justin?
A little bit, but not much. We haven't practiced yet. I haven't seen Garrison today. He's had another doctor's appointment, and some things are encouraging. We'll see if he can do anything during practice today. And if he can, it would be very limited. I would think that, to say the least. Justin felt much better yesterday. His ankle felt better, and I would expect that he would be able to go through a regular practice today.
Coach, was the mood different in the Louisville locker room compared to other losses this season?
I don't know that I would say it's any different. You know, I don't have a meter to go up and down kind of thing and grade it. I know we all were so disappointed Saturday morning when we realized that Garrison was not going to be able to play. But I don't know that I would say it was any different. Kept trying to challenge them and say, hey, we just got to play better ourselves. We have to work harder, play better, see what we can accomplish. And we had some opportunities to do some things that we didn't do very well, so brought those out. But it was, I don't know that I would say it was any different. No.
Success is a relative concept when it comes to NC State against you, but they have won 2 of their last 5 trips here. Do you notice a difference in them when you see them here as opposed to over there at Pre-N.C?
No, I know a couple of years ago, I'm so embarrassed, the youngster from Charlotte. Alaric.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember that. I said Luke Alaric. He just went crazy on us over here. You had to be happy for him. I went to see him play in high school, and but I thought he was just phenomenal in the game here. The game before that, I remember they beat us in my mind pretty easily. Other than Alaric going crazy on us, I can't remember much about that game. We couldn't throw in the ocean. Was the other thing I remember, if it's the right game anyway. And generally, when I was younger, I remembered every loss there. Running together so much this year because we've had so many more, but I know that both those games, one with Mark and one with Coach Keats, that I don't like that part of it, to say the least, but I know Alaric again, he was just off the charts good.
On the flip side, did you think you guys were like totally super free and clear and confident in the game in Raleigh back in January?
No, I think they were. I wouldn't give us any of those descriptive phrases.
Even in that game?
No. We missed 7 straight free throws or something crazy like that down the stretch. So no, I wouldn't use any of those descriptive phrases. But I think for us, we've had some games where we've really played well, and Luke May comes to mind because Luke just seemed like, I'm sure on their bench, seemed like he made every shot against them. And this year we got off to a pretty good start, you know, in the first half, not the first 2 minutes or 4 minutes. I think we were down 7-0, 9-0, something like that. And we got 2 straight steals off our defense and sort of got us back in the game. And Garrison was, needless to say, all of our offense early in the game. And but we were doing okay, and that they were missing shots that they normally make. And it's what I remember going at halftime, and even late game we had made some nice plays. Christian Keeling had made 2 big just pull-up jump shots for 2s right in that stretch. Andrew, they didn't identify the right man going back, so he gets a layup. But it was the kind of thing I was upset, angry, mad, sad, all those things together. We kept missing the free throws. But what was happening, even when, bless you, even when we missed the free throws, they weren't making the shots, so the lead wasn't dwindling. But we just were not putting the game out of the reach. It was more of a, if I can use this word and haven't used it enough with this team, it's more of a workmanlike effort and just going out and doing the job and trying to see what happened.
Roy, along those lines, you've talked some this year about needing to coach them to play with more effort at times. Is that one of those games where that wasn't an issue and that kind of made up for some of the other deficiencies?
I think we've really had the want to, but the want to's got it at different levels. And it's got to be, for this team to be successful, I want to, it's got to be at a really, really high level. Our execution, staying away from mistakes, and it's really got to be at a high level. But we haven't, one of my assistant coaches, Jerry Green, a long time ago said, those kids will pull the nails out of the floor for you. And I said, it's not for me, it's for our team. And we haven't had that kind of experience as regularly, as consistently all year as I've wanted. And I haven't been able to find the right buttons to push. And it's both of our fault. It's their fault, but it's my fault for not finding the right buttons to push to get them to be at that level. But I've looked, there's all the nails are still in the floor there this year, and I just haven't gotten to pull them out.
Other than you trying to inspire that want to, who are the guys, I know Garrison does a lot of it, but who else sort of steps up and trying to spur some of that on?
Well, I think each individual does a little bit, but you know, there's, you've heard me talk about our great leaders that we've had in the past, or maybe you haven't, but Joe, some other people have. You don't really realize that until you get to the end of the season, look back over and say, boy, David Noel took care of us here, or Tyler Hansbrough took care of us here, or Marcus Page took care of us here. And so during the course of the season, you're trying to get everybody to step up, and you're trying to get B-Rob to do more and Garrison to do more. And that game over there, I think B-Rob, you know, because he was not very comfortable and kept coming out of the game and trying to go back in and make it, I think, 7 out of 7 from the free throw line. So I think the team got some strength there. But I think my own self, I don't really identify that process until the season's over with, if that makes sense to you.
Roy, I'm sure you saw Kobe White drop back-to-back 30-point games. First time a Bulls rookie did it since Michael Jordan. When you recruited him, I'm sure you knew he was going to be very good, but did you know he was going to be this good and this fast in the NBA?
Well, it's hard to say because I saw him as a sophomore and fell in love with him as a sophomore. And he committed to us the summer after his sophomore year. So during his sophomore year, I didn't see that, no. But he got better as a junior, he got better as a senior. And when we came in last summer and started practicing, I thought he was the best player on the team. And that's hard to say because we had Kenny, Luke, and Cam had already been through it and everything. But after our summer practice, I said, guys, to my staff, I said, he's the best player on our team. And that's when we really started realizing, hey, we're probably not going to have him but a year. And so, no, there was a time period that he proved that he made us feel that way, and I think he's proven that in the NBA. But it wasn't when I first saw him. Ralph Sampson at 7'4" as a junior in high school, was pretty evident he was going to be greater. James Worthy as an 8th grader, I thought was one of the best players I'd ever seen. Michael Jordan for his senior in high school, but Kobe's was a very consistent sweat that he put in. He's got better and better. And you know, last thing I do before I go to bed at night is to check all the NBA guys, and I turn into a parent. I just want to see how many shots he got and how many minutes he played. And so it's fun looking at that. I think I'm right, 32 minutes, 33 points last night, so it's pretty impressive.
Roy, is preparation for tomorrow's game any different just based on the simple fact that you have beaten NC State this year? And I guess going hand in hand,
That's different because we don't have anybody else like that on our schedule.
You know, I was about to say, is it kind of similar to maybe Notre Dame too? Because you did beat Notre Dame the first game of the year, and haven't played them too.
I don't think so. I think it's, you know, Notre Dame was so early in the year, and so there was a big difference, I thought, at that time. And it's been several weeks again since we were over there at State, but we try to prepare every game really hard and try to use our brain and get them to sweat and get ready in preparation too. But I don't know that I would say, yes, it's more recent, so they remember that game more. But I mean, I had one guy say, gosh, when did we play Notre Dame? I mean, they could barely remember they played Notre Dame. It was so far ago, so long ago.
Coach, not to-
Go ahead.
I'll say, not to look too far ahead, but this is our last press conference with you in this setting before senior night. So I just wanted to ask you about B-Rob. Obviously, he's had a tough go of it this year with some injuries, but in terms of his progress throughout his career and what he's meant to the program?
It is, you know, and I'm struggling a little bit right now because, you know, basketball consumes me. It really does. And I go to bed thinking about it, I wake up thinking about it. stay up in the middle of the night thinking about it and looking at different things, and don't sleep, don't eat, and all those kind of things. And yet, right before I came in here, I was watching the Kobe Bryant deal at Staples Arena, and Vanessa got up and she was speaking, and you know, it's I'm sitting there because guys, it ruins me in a lot of different ways and everything, but we're playing a game, and I'm glad. It's the first time in my life I'm very glad the press conference was at 2 o'clock because I could walk out, but to have to go through those kind of emotions are really sad. Okay, what I'm doing is going through a difficult time for me. That's what it is, you know. It's so that part, when you realize what we're doing, is sort of puts things in perspective. And the reason I thought of that is because you're asking me about B-Rob, a guy that I've coached for 4 years. I've always been really sad when I knew that I was not going to coach a young man here in this building again. And that's the same way when I was at Kansas. It's just my senior year in high school was very important to me. My relationship with my high school coach was very important to me. When I came here and saw what senior day felt like, and I tried to make it even bigger when I went to Kansas. I tried to make it something really gigantic so the fans would really show those kids what they felt like. And in '97, when all my guys and I didn't have any idea, they go out on the court and people are throwing roses out on the floor because that group of seniors that year of Jock and Jared Scott, those guys, BJ, those guys have really done a lot of great things. And even the next year, it's every senior year is important when you're thinking about what that person or those 2 guys or those 3 guys or those 4 guys did. But it's a very long-winded answer that the sadness that I feel knowing that I'm not going to coach those guys in this building again really makes it a very difficult day for me. And I try to put a lot of pressure on the other players to make sure that they go out the right way. And sometimes we've won, sometimes we've lost. But I think that for the most part, we've gotten the kids to try to pull together, and I think that's what they'll try to do for B-Rob too, because I'm in the game looking at Jaylen Brown, as I'm trying to recruit Jaylen Brown. I thought he was just off the charts, and this other guy made a couple of moves, and I told Hubert Davis, I said, who is that kid? And we started recruiting B-Rob after that game when I was there to recruit Jaylen Brown, but I just saw what B-Rob did, saw what he did during the game and wanted to recruit him. And we were very happy when we got him, and he's had a tough run of health issues this year and sometimes in the past as well. He's really gotten heavy since he's been here. I think he's gained 6 pounds. Like that, you know. Most people gain a little more weight than me 4 years of college, but no, it'll be that same kind of thing. Is that I can show you where I was sitting in that gym when I first noticed B-Rob here in the game.
Coach, I wanted to ask you this question as far as being at this point of the season. How much of a challenge do you think it'll be to keep your players engaged, knowing they don't have much to play for in the regular season and giving that full maximum effort every game from here on out, no matter what the situation is?
I think they will, and it's a passion. It's a passion with me, and you know, you may be great at golf, you may not be any good, but if I'm playing, I'm gonna try to beat your tail, and that's the only way I've got to compare it to right now. And I was very fortunate. I had a really nice golf match in the fall before the school started, and I was really excited about it. And if I could play with somebody tomorrow, I'd be really excited about it. That's the way I try to coach. That if we're going to play, let's play the best we can possibly play. If we're going to compete, let's compete at the highest level we can compete, regardless of whether we've done it well in the past or poorly in the past. It's today. If I get to compete today, I want to beat your tail. And so I think that hopefully the guys will continue trying to do that. And like I say, you know, we didn't, I don't know how to say it, but whether I did a terrible job evidently because we weren't mentally into it before Wake Forest game. I think we still had so much of the left over from the previous game. But other than that, I mean, the guys, they're trying. I mean, the locker room was not fun after the Virginia game, or after the Clemson game, or after the Duke game, or after the Notre Dame game, because the kids do care. So we'll try to keep doing that same thing.
Roy, coming into this season, you basically have experienced everything you could as a coach, and this season is obviously.
I'd rather be inexperienced in a lot of these things too.
Yeah, what if anything have you learned about yourself going through this season?
I don't know that I learned anything. I was very appreciative of Garrison's remarks recently. Dion, in our other bad year that we had in 2010, he kept saying that I was the only guy that I kept coming every day trying to do the best I could do. And it was humorous now, it wasn't humorous then, but as I asked the staff if they wanted to go to the NIT, and they said no. And the players didn't want to go. My wife didn't want me to go. But I said, we won't go. You know, and sometimes you are in a position your vote counts more than everybody else's, but I wanted to keep competing. And I was very appreciative of the remarks that Dion made at that time. And you know, it's but it's not an act. It's not something I have to think about. It's who I am. It's what I do. If I go out there on the court today, tomorrow, Friday, next week, if I don't try to give them the best that I absolutely have, I would walk off, because I'm not going to do that. And so for me, what I've learned is that I'm stubborn, because I keep going back trying to do it, regardless of what kind of feedback you get. But it's still, it's a game, and that's what it is. I mean, it's, I don't know that you should, but you get to listen to that mom talk about her little daughter. Now that's serious stuff. And with me, it's just my personal thing of pushing, cajoling, hugging, kicking, whatever it is. But it's not an act. It's not something that I have to think about. It's not, boy, I got to get fired up today. I mean, that's what I do. And this has been a difficult year, and it'll never fail. The memories will never fail of how difficult it was. But the bottom line is, we get to play again tomorrow. And that's the whole thing, is we get to play again tomorrow. And we're going to try to play the best we possibly can. And I'll be fired up before the game starts. After the game, I won't sleep afterwards, regardless of what the result is. But again, if I can't go out there and get myself fired up, then I'm trying to walk back in.
Roy, you
Time for
were
two
given a chance for 11-year-old cancer survivor to be on the bench, and how did that come about, and what does that mean to you to give that kid that chance?
Well, Monroe Kobe bought it at the Coaches versus Cancer Golf. Jay Billis, who swears up and down he's a graduate, but I'm not sure. I put it up for auction, and it said, at a game next year during the 2019-20 season, any game next year, parentheses, except that game from people 10 miles down the road. And so Jay, in his extremely intelligent way, got up and didn't read. He thought it was a Duke game completely. And so that's the way he promoted it. And so we ended up, the bidding was going up, and I'm saying, okay, I got to do it because we're raising money for a great cause, research for pediatric cancer. And so two guys got to a very nice number. And they said, if you'll do both of us, we'll both do it. And I said, okay. And then I said, guys, the only problem I have is I don't even know if I have enough seats on the bench to get everybody there. And Ro Kobe said, let's do this. Said, I'll pick another game. And picked the state game. And it was for a 11-year-old youngster who's fought a tremendous battle and so far has won the battle, and everything feels great, looks great. And we hope it's going to be that way for the rest of his life. But he did something like 3 years of chemo and 1,500 pills and all this kind of stuff for a very difficult time period. And so he's going to sit on the bench like we do a lot of games to various juvenile diabetes association in Winston-Salem. We give one of those. But this, I want to make sure that he gets up to sit with me at the start of the game so we can take a picture. I'll see these guys' suggestions what I should do during the course of the game. But then he'll take his seat on the end of it. So it was all in fundraising for research for pediatric cancer.
You had mentioned how the memories of this season aren't going to go away anytime soon, but we still get to play again and play again. Sort of touching back to what Greg said, what do you tell a guy like B-Rob, though, who's only got a few more games and he's not going to have that?
But you'll have a few more games. Don't just think it's okay. You're only going to have a few more games. Jared Hass told me something one time with Grace. He said, I don't want to say I wish I had. And I'm talking to him about what he's doing in the summer. He's running before breakfast, and then he eats breakfast, and then he's going to his high school work with his high school coach's camp, and then at lunch he lifts weights and gets up 500 shots, and then he works with the camp in the afternoon, and then he gets in another running session and shot session, and then goes and referees the games at night, and then they leave and he plays pickup with his guys. And that's what he does every day. And he told me, he said, I never want to say I wish I had done this over the summer. And so that's the thing to me. It's the way I look at not only my life, but this. Don't look back and say, oh, I had a senior night, I wish I'd really done this, or the next last game, I wish I'd really done that. I mean, these are your only options. You know, there's 2 more is all they are. And so try to be extremely focused on what you're trying to do. And I think B-Rob will be that way.
Last one, Ross.
Coach, one note that Steve had in his notes was that Garrison played 99 games and made 62 starts until Saturday. Did you expect that kind of longevity and amount of starts and his offensive production this year? I think it's been.
No, he's gotten better and better every year. We haven't had the numbers of big guys that we've had in the past that can really work and make you that much better in practice, and so I think it's a credit to him. You know, he hasn't played against Sterling every day in practice or somebody like that, and I think playing against Luke over the years has really helped him. But that's a young man who's gotten better and better and better, and I mean, Steve brought it up or somebody else said something about it. I mean, the lineup we started Saturday was the first minute those 5 guys had ever played together all year. And so it's some of the things we're going through, but Garrison has been one of those nice lights that are shining about how hard he's worked and what he's done. And I think he's going to continue to get better. I really do. But coming out of high school, we thought we were going to get him, and we're stunned that we didn't get him. And then all of a sudden, we get a chance and we do get him. And he's been one of the success stories. There's no question.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.